23 male, fiance, 23 female, hates it when I use a condom. I've been with my soon-to-be fiance for 2 years. We met in college and just hit it off from there. However, something weird happened during lovemaking. She never makes love to me if I wear a condom. She always wants to go raw, and I'm worried because she isn't on birth control. Last night, I tried putting on a condom and she yelled at me and said I wasn't a real man and that only sissies wear condoms. It was really weird, and I wonder if some women are insulted if a man wears a condom during lovemaking. I have no idea why she's acting like this. She's only started this way 2 months ago. What should I do, and how do I navigate this? Update: my 23 male, fiance, 23 female, hates it when I use a condom. So, my curiosity got the better of me, and I checked her phone while she went to the store. I looked through her text messages and saw an exchange with her friend on the phone. In the text messages, my significant other talks about how she doesn't want to lose me and how I have way too many options compared to her. She talks about how jealous she feels when other girls try and flirt with me. My significant other and friend discussed trying to get her pregnant, so I won't leave her. I'm really not ready for kids at all, and it makes it really uncomfortable that my significant other would want to trick me into getting her pregnant. When my significant other came back, she immediately tried to initiate lovemaking, but I refused. T then blew up into an argument. She started talking about how I didn't love her and that I've been distant lately. In a fit of anger, I let it slip that I went through her phone and I knew she was trying to trap me. Things only went downhill from there and evolved into a shouting match. I left the house and packed up most of my things. I don't think staying with her is worth my time anymore, and she kept trying to gaslight and manipulate me. My phone is still blowing up from text messages saying that she loves me and she wants me to take her back, but I'm not buying it. Inappropriate behavior from my 20 female, younger sister, 11 female. She was caught texting, stealing from us, and using older sister's identity on the internet before. I just discovered she's becoming worse. My younger sister Jane, 11 female, has been driving me crazy. My older sister Anne, 24 female, almost hates her at this point, and my parents said the situation isn't that serious. First of all, Jane isn't my mom's BO daughter. Dad had an affair 11 years ago, and Jane is the other woman's daughter. Her BO mom is not in the picture, and my mom raised Jane since she was 6 months. This information is important. It started last year. My parents discovered she was in a chat group with older teens, 15 to 19-year-olds, and they shared their nudes. They told my sister she must send her nudes as well. Jane told them she was 17, and luckily she didn't. However, she did send them some of the photos and had on her Instagram pictures of Anne on the beach, and told everyone from that group that the girl in those photos was her. According to my mom, her chats with some of the dudes from that group were real inappropriate. My parents yelled at her, changed her number, and told her to never do that again. That was it. Months later, things in our house started to disappear. Yes, it was Jane the one taking our things. Few examples: she sometimes takes money from my dad's wallet when he comes from work. She always steals and macup. When I was 14, my grandpa bought me 3 rings. Last week one of them just disappeared. Last year we went on a family vacation, and I bought one necklace from that place. I discovered yesterday that she stole that necklace, took a photo of her with my necklace, and posted it on her WhatsApp status. When I confronted her, she denied it and never gave it back. Basically, she always takes our things when we are out of the house and even when we are sleeping. Now, I know I'm going to sound petty, but after she took a photo of my necklace, I decided to check her phone and tablet while she was sleeping to see if there are other things she took without our permission. Yes, I wanted to be a snitch. However, I'm now worried. Here's what I found. 1. Endless photos of Jane using my things, rings, bracelets, my AirPods, and even my phone. Last week I had to get my wisdom teeth removed, and I didn't take my phone with me. She has been taking pictures of all my conversations with my friends since July 4th, and she used my Instagram when I was getting my teeth removed. I'm disgusted by this because I had nudes in my gallery. And yes, my phone had a password. I don't know how she unlocked it. 2. I looked at her WhatsApp and apparently everything is fine there. However, the last person she talked to was some guy and the whole chat was deleted. It seems 100% suspicious to me. 3. She has Instagram and she isn't allowed to have one. Not only that, but she also has logged into Anne's Instagram. I don't even know how she got her password. 4. My grandma sent my mom $200 for Christmas. My mom never got the chance to spend it, so she has the money in her closet. The closet's door is always locked because she has other things there as well. In Jane's phone, I found photos of her posing with the $200. Again, that door was locked. 5. And last but not least, I took her tablet too. The only thing I found there was a note from May 20th. Here's the translation equals day 1. I'm not hungry. I hate my family. I feel that they don't want me. Why didn't they abandon me in the first place? They don't know me. They don't know how I am or how I normally feel. But since I grew up without a real mom, sometimes when I grab a knife I wonder why I don't die. That thought always comes to mind when I grab a knife. End of day 1 inch. Yesterday I talked to my parents about the necklace incident and I got told that I'm just overreacting. They also said that, even though taking our things without our permission is wrong, Jane can't steal because we all live in the same house. I disagree. There are other things Jane does, such as sucking her thumb. Yes, she never stopped doing that. I think this particular thing isn't that serious, but I don't even know at this point. I honestly don't know how to talk to my parents about all of this. I would appreciate some advice. Just to clarify, I don't care more about my jewelry than my sister. It's just that my parents don't believe in therapy and find it useless. Sometimes they even mock the concept of depression, anxiety, etc. Yes, I do know my sister needs serious help, but I don't know how to talk to my parents about this. Update: inappropriate behavior from my 20 female younger sister, 11 female. She was caught texting, stealing from us, and using older sister's identity on the internet before. I just discovered she's becoming worse. Many people have been asking me to write an update about my last post. So that day my dad didn't come home until 2 days later. My older sister and I told our parents that we needed to talk. Jane was in her room, so that helped a bit. It was just the 4 of us at first. Since I took pictures of everything she did, all her selfies with our stolen things, I even took a picture of the note she wrote. I showed them all those pictures while I was telling them about the things I found on her phone. My dad got angry and took her phone, tablet, and then he went through her phone first. Since it caught her by surprise, my dad found more things she couldn't delete. Apparently, she also has another Instagram account. She has been talking to more than 10 boutiques there, asking them what can she buy from there with $20. She also has been talking to strangers using that Instagram account. One thing that made my dad angry was the fact that Jane was the one who started all the conversations with those strangers. He told her he's going to delete both of her accounts. At this point, Jane was crying and begging him not to. He went through her WhatsApp/contacts. That's when our parents told us that they allowed Jane to have, at most, 25 contacts on her phone. All should be friends from school and family. But she had a little more than 250 contacts. Some of them were people from Venezuela and Costa Rica. Also, many of her contacts had weird names. One was named Pikachu, another one was Harry Potter, another one was named Blocked, and so on. My dad asked her who are they and where did she get their numbers. She didn't answer. Jane has been telling those strangers who my dad was, how much is his salary. My dad has a high salary, and the places he has been going to in the past few weeks, he travels a lot for work and is considered essential. She sent her selfie with my mom's money to one of them, and she even told them where we live, the area, not the direction itself. She also created another Google account so my dad couldn't monitor her. My dad had the password of her first Google account. About the stolen things, my mom went to her closet and found the $200 there. Apparently, Jane only wanted to take selfies with it. My parents just told her to never do that again. About her online behavior, after debating for a while, my dad decided she can use her phone until 4 p.m. That's it. They said they can't leave her without a phone because she has online classes in the mornings. Finally, the more concerning thing, which is the note that I found. My dad wasn't surprised about this at all. He told us 3 of his co-workers have 14, 16-year-old daughters that cut themselves, act depressed, etc. Mom says there's no way she can be depressed because she's always enjoying her life and doing everything she wants. My sister and I suggested therapy, but both my mom and dad thought that if Jane was depressed, she wouldn't even want to do the things she likes / wouldn't even enjoy them. We asked them if they think this is normal behavior for an 11-year-old. They didn't answer. They don't care about the stolen things and they both think Jane's note is just an angry phase. Their main concern is about Jane talking to strangers online and giving personal information. I know this isn't a good update, but I tried to convince them about the therapy. My parents grew up in a little town from South America. They aren't evil abusers, they just were raised in a time and place where mental health wasn't something to be worried about. I do know Jean needs to feel loved, and both my sister and I are currently trying to be closer to her and understand her more. Other than that, I don't think there's much we can do. There's no extended family who can persuade my parents. I can't take her to therapy by force. There's also a pandemic going on, so any contact with strangers would be a big no from my parents. People told me I should call CPS if my parents don't do anything, but that would be such a drastic decision. I don't even think my older sister would support me with that one. My parents aren't evil, they just don't understand. My older sister and I decided we will support Jane as much as we can from now on. I, 36 male, have refused to go to the future wedding of my now ex-wife, 37 female, and it's really affecting the relationship with our kids. Thought I'd give this a chance to see if I can get some insight into my situation, as I can't see what I have done that's so wrong and what I can do to remedy it. So we've been married 15 years, together longer, and have 3 kids. She has a daughter from her first relationship who's now 18. I class her as mine. I've done everything for her, and we have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old son. Now, she was upfront and honest when we got together that she was bi, and it was never an issue last year until she said she thought she was ultimately a lesbian and had fallen in love with her now fiancé, 35 female, and it led to divorce as I was unwilling to open the relationship or consider a poly situation. So we've been divorced a year, although we are still friends and have a good co-parenting relationship. Even though we are good, I still am suffering and can't say I'm even close to moving on yet. The kids live with her, primarily, although I see them multiple times a week and can say if I didn't have them, I'd have nothing. So basically, I got a call from my ex earlier on in the week saying she had to tell me something, that she's now engaged. I was shocked as hell. Basically, she said they're not going to do the typical thing and have a long engagement. They're looking at getting married as soon as lockdown has been lifted, and they are on about moving in together as soon as possible. And there's more. She said she wants to have me as her best man, as she still considers me her best friend and can't think of anyone else she'd rather have there. Suffice to say, I told her I wasn't happy with it and said I'm not going to be her best man, or don't think it's a good idea for me to be at the wedding, and definitely don't like the idea of moving someone in around my kids after a year. Now, my kids love the fiancé. My kids are always talking about her. Suffice to say, she was upset and we haven't spoken since. I mean, if that was just it, then I wouldn't be that upset. I mean, in what way does going to a wedding, seeing my wife marry the woman whom she left me for, seems like a good idea, and to be the best man? My kids found out though, somehow, are upset. My daughter particularly really went off and said she thought I was better than that, and if I don't go to the wedding, she'll never talk to me again. The youngest 2 don't want to come and see me this week and also have refused to talk to me. I'm still close and have a relationship with my in-laws, and they've also have been on my case saying I should go, especially for my kids' sake. Here's where I need help and someone to talk to. What do I do? I mean, the last thing I want to do is be false and go to a wedding watching the woman whom I thought I'd be with forever marry someone else. Yet I hate the thought that my kids are suffering, and the prospect of not having them in my life, even if it's for a short while, is like torture. Help. Update. I, 36 male, have refused to go to the future wedding of my now ex-wife, 37 female, and it's really affecting the relationship with our kids. Basically, everything all moved forward today. So I thought I'd be best to reach out to my daughter, so I messaged her along the lines of, hey, I know you're not talking to me now, but I think we need to talk. To my surprise, she agreed and came over very quickly. I said to her that as she's an adult, I won't sugarcoat things now. I'm not in a good place and her mum getting married to her girlfriend and asking me to be best man is a bit too much for me when I'm struggling to move on with my life. She said she sort of understands, but it hit her close to home. She then came out to me as a lesbian herself. She said she's known for a while now. She told her mum/my ex a while ago, but wasn't sure how to tell me, and because of the way I reacted to the wedding, she was worried I wouldn't be able to accept it. I reassured her that I love her dearly and I'm proud of her for being honest with me, and stressed the way I feel about her mum and her now fiancé is nothing to do with the fact they're lesbians, but because she's my ex-wife and I can't just turn my feelings off like that. I'd feel exactly the same if her mum was marrying a dude. We hugged it out and she said she'd talk to her brothers and see if she can get them to come around because they live with mum and see the fiancé often. They see her and love her a lot, so they don't understand. I said to her I can't promise I'd go to the wedding eventually, but if I feel up to it I may try, but it will be hard for me. While she was here, she FaceTimed her mum from her phone, and I got a chance to talk to my ex. I was honest, said I feel like she blindsided me and sprung it on me without thinking about how I feel, especially putting me on the spot about making me her best man. I said the invitation to the wedding was one thing, but that was a bit too much for me. She took it all in and apologized and admitted it's because she's all loved up and her family is giving her all the platitudes about how happy and proud they are, so she got caught up in the moment. She asked me how I feel about it now. I said in all honesty, it's a bit too much to consider at the moment, but I'm not going to be her best man regardless. She understands and said she won't expect that of me. But if I didn't want to go to the wedding itself, would I be interested in going to just the reception? I said, in all honesty, I don't know if I can. And she shouldn't expect me to. She agreed and said she'll leave it to me and will try to understand if I can, but would be made up if I can. The boys were there, so I asked if she could put them on, but they didn't want to talk to me. Honestly, that feels like a punch in the balls, so I left it there before it started me crying, and she saw it and let the daughter leave so I could be on my own. I've never liked her to see me too emotional, especially cry. So there you have it. We've all made peace as such, but there's a long way to go yet. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and give the OP any advice you have in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes. Links in the description box.